Hi everyone. So first I apologize for sending this out a little bit late. I will be sending out one of these each week with the questions over the problem sets that Dr. Afsar posts. These are just a similar version of the questions. They're the exact same questions. All I do is put them on a different format so that I'm able to write on them, which makes it just a little bit easier to see where the numbers are coming from. And then I show all of the work and go through the steps that I'm using to get to those numbers. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Email me. I will gladly set up a Zoom meeting with you. I will email back and forth depending on what you prefer. Just let me know if you have any questions so that I can help make sure you understand the material and what's going on. So the first question says, for each of the costs below, explain whether the resource cost is explicit or implicit, and then give the annual opportunity cost of each one. Assume the business owner can invest money and earn 4.5% annually. So the first choice is the company's delivery truck, which costs $150,000 4 years ago, is now worth $120,000. The company has paid off its bank loan used to purchase the truck and now owns the delivery truck. So since it's now worth $120,000, it could sell the truck for $120,000. And if it sells the truck for $120,000, it could invest that money at this 4.5% interest rate, which is 0.045, and it could earn interest on it. So if we invest our $120,000 at 4.5%, our business owner would make $5,400, and this is in implicit cost. The way that I am able to distinguish in my personal understanding of implicit versus explicit is explicit is things that you are likely to see on your credit card statement. Implicit is what could have been. So the next one is a janitorial service that keeps the company's building clean and sanitary, charges the company $2,000 per month on a month-by-month plan. Payments made at the end of each month after the services have been performed. So $2,000 a month, and there's 12 months. So this would be $24,000. This is an explicit cost. It's an explicit cost because you would actually see this on your accounting books if you were looking at the accounting books. A color printer and scanner is rented for $3,000 per year. The rental price does not include the cost of consumables such as toner, cartridges, and paper. This is just an explicit cost of the price that we're paying to rent it. So $3,000. Secretarial services cost $38 per hour, which includes the cost of providing benefits. The company uses 650 hours of secretarial services annually. So we're going to have $38 an hour times 650 hours. So $24,700 over the course of the year. And again, you could see that on the books if you looked at it, so it would be an explicit cost. Question 2 says, during a year of operation, a firm collects $1.2 million in revenue and spends $865,000 on raw materials, labor, expenses, utilities, and rent. The owners of the firm have provided $250,000 of their own money to the firm instead of investing the money and earning 9.5% annual interest rate. Treat income tax as an explicit cost of doing business. So the explicit costs are just the costs that we spend on these raw materials. So that would be $865,000. The implicit costs are what they could have earned. So that's going to be your $250,000 times our interest rate that we could have earned, which was 9.5% or 0.095, which means our implicit costs are $23,750. And then our total economic cost is just the sum of those. So $888,750. The firm earns an economic profit of. To find our economic profit, we're going to look at our total revenues minus our economic costs. So $1.2 million minus our total economic costs gives us an economic profit of $311,250. Our accounting profit is our total revenue, which is still our $1.2 million, but this time it's only minus our accounting costs, which is $865,000, which means our accounting profit is $335,000. If the owners could earn 15% annually on the money they have invested in the firm, the economic profit would be, and this is just a weird little bubble down here, sorry. My apologies. So our implicit costs would be $250,000 times 0.15 because that's our new interest rate. And when we do that, we see that it would be $37,500. Our explicit costs aren't changing because those don't depend on our interest rate. So those are going to stay at $865,000. So then we're going to have our $1.2 million minus our $37,500 minus $865,000. So that is going to give us $297,500. I apologize for that delay. My calculator decided it was a good time to update the software. Then our last question Says over the next 3 years, a firm is expected to earn economic profits of $60,000 in the first year, $50,000 in the second year, and $20,000 in the third year. At the end of the third year, the firm will go out of business. If the risk-adjusted discount rate is 6% for each of the next 3 years, that's going to be 0.06. The value of the firm is. So the formula that we're going to use for this is our net present value. And that is where we sum up the value in each of the time periods. So the first time period is going to be 60,000 divided by 1.06. And that would be raised to the first, but when you raise it to the first, it doesn't really mean anything. Nothing changes. And then $50,000 over 1.06 squared plus $20,000 over 1.06 to the third. And when we do that, we get that the net present value of this company is $117,896. Which means that is the amount that they could sell the company for today if they wanted to take that instead of going through the next 3 years. If it was 11%, you would have the same steps, except it would be $60,000 over 1.11 to the first plus $50,000 over 1.11 to the second plus $20,000 over 1.11 to the third, which would give us $109,259. Again, if you have any questions, please email me, let me know. I will gladly respond. We can set up a Zoom meeting, whatever you need. And I hope you have a wonderful week.